It's a pretty universal sentiment in the wrap industry that removing the wraps can be a frustrating, labor-intensive process that often involves using harsh chemicals that are bad for the environment and workers. And the goal of this TWI Green Equals Green video is that by choosing the right material for the job, using the right tools and techniques, and thinking outside the box, removal times can be cut in half if not more, which puts green dollars in your pocket all the while using more environmentally friendly and safe products that help keep Mother Nature green too. Let's get to it. One of the most non-green equals green removal scenarios is when the removal window was missed, which can result in wrap film that comes off in tiny pieces and leaves a lot of adhesive residue behind. This leads to long labor hours and a lot of chemicals being used, which eats into profits and is bad for the environment. A very simple green equals green solution is to manage clients and warranties, with scheduled alerts and incentives to remove the wrap film in time. Another negative green equals green scenario is when low-cost wrap film is used. It does save a wrap shop money on the front end, but for removals, the wrap film comes off again in tiny pieces and leaves adhesive residue behind, which results in high labor and product costs. This also creates bottlenecks in schedules as removals take longer than planned. If quality wrap film is used instead, often the cost is only 2 to 5% more on the front end, yet when it comes time for the removal, often the vinyl is in better condition, so it removes in one piece and leaves almost no adhesive residue behind, which equals speed and opens the door to volume. The same argument can be made by choosing the wrong film for the job, in this case on glass. This material removes in small little pieces with lots of adhesive residue left behind. By spending time to get better product knowledge, often by contacting the manufacturer or reading product bulletins, the right film can be picked, which means fast removals and no chemicals needed. That's green equals green. The same logic can be applied to window perforation. Lamination can add to the initial cost and product usage, but it means a higher quality, longer lasting product that removes in one sheet. Removing unlaminated window perf can take 30 to 60 minutes for these 3 windows depending on how long it's been on, versus 5 minutes with lamination. Product knowledge can also be applied to the installer doing the removal. Knowing the right techniques to remove a variety of wrap films means that, in this case with reflective wrap film, pulling and heating in the opposite direction means that all the adhesive comes off on the wrap film, not on the vehicle. Using the incorrect method means that the wrap film comes off in the same amount of time, but now all the adhesive stays on the car, which means more chemicals and tripling or quadrupling the removal time. A good green equals green removal tip is to invest in an IR heater. This does mean a higher cost initial investment, but they do warm up large areas thoroughly and quickly, which means faster removals that pay for themselves over time through lower labor costs and less adhesive residue is left behind, so less product costs. One of the best IR heaters is free, and that is the sun. In most areas, this is not an all year round option, but take advantage when possible, as it's about as green equals green as you can get. Now we get to how to remove adhesive residue left behind. The standard method in the industry is to use an adhesive remover. Often it means spray and scraping multiple times, which can be time consuming. Also, the adhesive remover drips down and in this case goes behind the body molding, which can compromise the install if not addressed. Also, it drips on the floor, which leads to dirty and unprofessional workspaces. Additionally, the fumes from the adhesive removers fill the workspace, which can have an effect on everyone who's working there. As of 2019, there are not a lot of widely available truly green adhesive removers worldwide, but there are a wide variety of effective ones. It's all about using them correctly. If using aerosol options, use focused, close to the surface spraying to minimize product usage and breathing in the chemicals. Citrus-based adhesive removers are popular and, like aerosol solutions, focused spraying is a smart step. The key is to find an adhesive remover that is effective but not overly toxic, so be sure to do some research. Using super strong adhesive removers like xylene or carburetor cleaners can be effective, but they are very toxic for the environment and workers. Also, avoid overusing adhesive promoters at the beginning of the install when possible, as this leads to a massive amount of adhesive residue left behind when the graphics come off, which lead to exponentially longer removals and product usage, which is definitely not green equals green. A very green equals green alternative to the standard ways of taking adhesive residue off is to use a steamer. It's safe and very effective. In case of these emblems, they are encapsulated in the sponge, which softens the adhesive, so nothing is left behind when they are taken off. No chemicals and fast. For removing stubborn adhesive promoter residue left behind, which uses a ton of chemicals and takes a long time when done traditionally, a steamer quickly and safely removes the residue in a matter of seconds with only distilled water. There are no costs for adhesive removers and there's no fumes to inhale by the installer. This method alone lowers removal times by hours and is very green equals green. The same steamer can be used to remove standard adhesive residue left behind by wrap film. Here, some cut vinyl left behind a fair amount of residue. Instead of using adhesive removers and scrapers, the steam softens the adhesive and it's simply wiped off with a microfiber towel. Fast and good for the environment. Steam can be used to remove the wrap film itself. Like when removing the emblems, the wet heat from the steamer softens the adhesive, which means less is left behind on the surface. This can be particularly the case with tricky to remove wrap films like PPF, which, if using heat guns or propane torches, will leave a lot of adhesive residue behind. This can be especially the case with window tint, which, if pulled off with standard heat, will leave almost 100% adhesive behind. This is definitely not green equals green. And here are some out-of-the-box green equals green removal tips. For vehicles, if putting the emblems back on over the wrap, a good tip is to use soap and water to scrape the adhesive down flat, but don't take it off all the way. Then, use a degreaser to prep the surface. This avoids having to use harsher adhesive removers and saves on product costs. Wrap over the area normally, which means there will be a slight impression of the adhesive residue under the wrap film. But this acts as a template, so the emblems go back on super quick. This saves time, so it's truly green equals green. And another way to remove adhesive residue left behind by emblems is to use an eraser wheel. These remove the adhesive residue without having to use harsh chemicals, and after sweeping the specks safely away, the area can be cleaned with standard cleaners which cost less and are better for the environment. And the last out-of-the-box option is, and this is primarily for trailers or old vehicles with paint damage, is to simply not take the old wrap off, but just go over it. This generally only involves a standard clean, so it saves a lot on time and chemical usage. And now for the wrap-up. The goal of this TWI green equals green video on removals is to help cut these times in half, if not more, than using standard methods, both in material choice, using the right techniques and tools, plus chemicals used. When possible, avoid using harsh chemicals as they have a high cost both in money, health, and the environment. The goal is to have a safe workplace that has high profits due to less labor and product costs, which lead to higher volume, both for removals and installs. Hope this helps you make your shop greener. Thanks for watching. Justin Payton.